Good morning. I am Kevin Price talking to you about you and your business. And as usual, I've got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to jump straight into it with our very first guest. Got a really important thing going on. We're going to be learning more about what's going on in business growth and business development. And our first guest is going to be able to really speak on the subject. He's a growth expert on the seven silent growth killers to business. His name is Robert Sher. And Robert, welcome to the program. How are you?
Doing fine, thanks. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Glad to have you on. Real quickly, kind of give us the elevator speech about your company.
Certainly. Well, CEO to CEO is a consulting business. We work with mid-sized businesses, generally between 10 million revenues up to 400 or 500 million revenues. So we focus on the unique problems and challenges that those businesses face and how to help them.
How large is your company, and how many people do you have on your team?
Oh, we're a boutique firm, 4 to 5 people on the team overall, and we've been at this for about 8 years, following a 23-year career as a CEO.
Very good. So what about those seven growth killers? What I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, is give us all 7, and then I'm going to follow up with specifics. So we at least make sure the audience covers all the 7.
Certainly. The first one is time sliding away, where things get done slower and slower in a mid-sized business than they ever did before. The second one is strategy tinkering at the top, where usually CEOs who are used to ideating and coming up with new things all the time keep doing that, even though their business is too big to handle a steady flow of interesting ideas, and it becomes distracting and frankly, kills the growth. Another one is fumbled strategic acquisitions. Boy, it's really fun to buy companies, but when you buy the wrong one, when you integrate them incorrectly, it's a complete disaster and distracts everyone. Another one of them is reckless attempts at growth, where we're now a $100 million business. We want to find $10 million in new revenue to grow 10%, but we really don't do it carefully enough. We're reckless, and we can blow millions and millions of dollars when we do that. Another one is operational meltdown, typically very fast-growing companies where we get the sale, we get a bigger sale, we get a huge sale, but we can't finally deliver it all. And when you're a $200 million company and you get into that position, you fall down, but boy, you cannot get up very quickly. Another one is tolerating dysfunctional leaders. Sometimes the great people that help us grow from 2 million to 50 million aren't the people that can get us to the next level, but we often tolerate them because most CEOs are frankly, very, very nice people. So, there you go for a quick feel.
Yeah. Okay. So I got 6. I'm wondering if I might have missed one. It's basically time slipping away, strategy tinkering on the top, bumbling strategy acquisitions, reckless attempt to growth, operation meltdown, and tolerating dysfunctional leaders. What did I miss?
Right. So you didn't miss one. I missed one. The last one was liquidity crashes. And there's
liquidity
crashes when you run out of money. Sometimes it's a big downturn that all of a sudden you're looking for that next dollar to make payroll. Other times you grow yourself out of money. But when a business runs out of money, boy, all the growth stops. You just look to get that next buck.
Yeah, very good. Talking to Robert Sher, talking about the 7 silent growth killers. By the way, do you have an article or a book on this?
Yes, the book is called Mighty Mid-Sized Companies, How Leaders Overcome 7 Silent Growth Killers. And it came from working in hundreds of businesses and doing specific research at over 110 companies about what are the things that most often take a nice growing mid-sized business and knock it back. And we found there were 7, and the book has all the approaches about how you avoid them or overcome them if they come knocking at your door.
So of the 7, what would you say is the most pervasive among your clients?
Well, I'd say the most pervasive and the most destructive and maybe the most fundamental is tolerating dysfunctional leaders.
Really?
An amazing leadership team that has been there, done that are the people that are going to pull your company forward to the next level. They often understand many of the other growth killers and can manage. So if I had to pick one to really absolutely get right, it would be that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now
what would you say is the reason why a company comes to see you? I would think that dysfunctional leaders is probably a blind spot to a lot of these companies. You know, they've known them. There's a huge amount of familiarity. They're looking for something else. Is that true?
Well, when clients come to us from paying from all 7 of these, and that's part of what's validated that they are the 7 most important ones. But honestly, many CEOs are mad at some of their leaders. They're angry. They know they shouldn't have them. They just can't bring themselves to make a change. And so we often get clients when they're frustrated by several that say, look, we're not getting our projects done. And I've got some of these team leaders that don't know what they're doing, and, you know, the competition's catching up. So it presents in combinations usually. Each one isn't isolated.
Yeah, got it. And so probably a lot of times they are coming to see you, they being CEOs, because of the symptoms these problems create. Is that true?
Symptoms, it's frustration. It's also growth slowing down. We were growing at 45% 2 years running. All of a sudden, we're at 5 or 6%. Our customers are angry at us. We have got to do something different. They also often recognize that what got them there won't get them to the next level. So, hey, when we were 10 million, I could control this beast. I was telling everyone what to do. But now at 50 million, I don't have enough hours in the day. I'm out of control. What's wrong here? And the summary of what we often help with those companies is building what I call leadership infrastructure. There's a system of people and processes and approaches that can make running a $100 million company as comfortable as running a $10 or a $5 million company. But without those things, it gets to be chaos.
Yeah, no question about it. It's an interesting and very important topic, you know, and businesses really need to be keeping an eye on this, or they could find themselves really sucked up into this. And I would assume that it creates kind of a ripple effect. Any one of these could start affecting any of the others.
You bet, absolutely. So, you know, time starts slipping away on some key projects, and the CEO gets antsy, and they start thinking of workarounds or other ideas. That's new strategy tinkering. He falls in love with one, or she does, and all of a sudden they make a big attempt at growth, throwing $4 million into this new thing. That blows up. They're distracted from their operations. Things start to melt down. To solve that, they pour money in, then they have a liquidity crash, and so on.
Very good stuff. I appreciate it. Robert Sher, he's been our guest, and he is with a company called CEO to CEO. I love the name. Congratulations getting that domain. And I want to encourage you to check it out, CEO to CEO.biz. Learn more about the mighty mid-sized companies that you really do focus on. I personally think they're kind of neglected. You know, there's a certain romance that surrounds small businesses, and obviously we're all in shock and awe of the leviathans called enterprise-level companies. And so it's cool that there's companies like yours that address that mid-market.
Absolutely.
So great work. Thanks so much, Robert.
Thank you so much for having me.
When we come back, much more for you. I want to remind you, best content here, including this interview, can be found over there at usdatareview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. And you're listening to The Price of Business.